Sego Sewaguego, Sarah Jungyuts. I'm a first-year student at the Ungwehui Midwives Collective Apprenticeship Program, and I've created a quick PowerPoint presentation on the pituitary gland and the hormones it secretes. Pituitary gland, also called hypophysis, is a ductless gland of the endocrine system that secretes hormones directly into the bloodstream. The pituitary gland is also called the master gland because its hormones regulate other important endocrine glands. It has two functional lobes, the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. This diagram shows where the pituitary is located in the brain. The term hypophysis, from the Greek for lying under, refers to the gland's position on the underside of the brain. The anterior pituitary contains abundant hormones secreting epithelial cells. Despite its insignificant size, the anterior pituitary gland controls the activity of so many other endocrine glands. Two of the 6 hormones of the anterior pituitary are growth hormones and prolactin. Growth hormone is vital for normal physical growth in children. Its levels rise progressively during childhood and peak during the growth spurts that occur in puberty. Prolactin is similar to growth hormone structurally. The secretion of prolactin also can be stimulated by high doses of estrogen and is briefly stimulated by stress and exercise too. Adrenocorticotropic hormone regulates the endocrine activity of the cortex portion of the adrenal gland. Thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, also called thyrotropic hormone, TH, influence growth and activity of the thyroid gland. Gonadotrophic hormones regulate the hormonal activity of the gonads, ovaries, and testes. The follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, stimulates follicle development in the ovaries. As the follicle matures, they produce estrogen, and eggs are readied for ovulation. In men, FSH stimulates sperm development by the testes. The luteinizing hormone, LH, triggers ovulation of an egg from the ovary and causes the ruptured follicle to produce progesterone and some estrogen. In men, LH stimulates testosterone production by the interstitial cells of the testes. The posterior pituitary is largely composed of unmyelinated neurons. Posterior pituitary is not an endocrine gland in the strict sense because it does not make the peptide hormones it releases. Oxytocin is thought to influence a number of physiological and behavioral processes, as well as particularly sexual and social behaviors in males and females. In both sexes, oxytocin is produced by the hypothalamus and stored and secreted into the bloodstream from the posterior pituitary gland. It is also synthesized and secreted in other tissues, including the brain, uterus, placenta, ovaries, and testes. The second hormone released by the posterior pituitary is antidiuretic hormone. It is a chemical that inhibits or prevents urine production. Another name for it is vasopressin. Anterior pituitary is not as all-powerful in its control as it might appear, because the release of each of its hormones is controlled by releasing and inhibiting hormones produced by the hypothalamus. Neurosecretory cells in the hypothalamus synthesizes oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone, ATH, and transports them down their axis to the posterior pituitary. There, the hormones are stored until their release is triggered by the nerve impulses from the hypothalamus. Now all for watching. Oh no.